Once again, I can't sleep, and that means it's time to make a tutorial. I haven't actually made a script, but I've sort of got in my mind what I want to do with this video. In a previous video, I said I would be going over how I set up my programming environment to program QuickBASIC in Programmer's Notepad. So I have Programmer's Notepad open here. Go ahead and create a quick basic file, basic programming file. Print hell no world, and I'll go ahead and save that, and it'll show up over here in the folder that I just saved it to. And then with that, my basic tools you see right here are make compile.bat. That makes a batch file that you can run to compile your basic program. Edit compile.bat. That tool you can use to edit that batch file that you just created. Compile, of course, run, and compile and run exe, and DOSBox. And I'll be going over these tools, what they look like in Programmer's Notepad, and what the batch files on the other end of those tools looks like. And I'll be doing that relatively quickly, or as quickly as screen capture software allows me to do, since it's going to create a lot of lag. Anyway, with this hellno.base, we can make the batch file that we'll use to compile it. I'll go ahead and run that tool now first. I don't need any command line options, so I press enter, and you'll see over here that that batch file just popped up. Then we can go ahead and view that file if we really want to. Do you want another copy? No. Alright, and this is what that batch file looks like. And we have this right here, these last two lines have an object file and a map file. You can comment those out or delete it if you wanted to keep those, if you're working on a larger project and wanted to keep those files for some reason. But I'll go ahead and show you the tool and then the batch file used to do that. If we go to Tools, Options, Tools again, it's a little redundant, but click on the tool and edit, and I'll show you what that looks like. You have the name, you have the command. We're just we're calling a batch file, which is compilemaker.bat. We're passing in the file name. Over here on this tab, make sure that capture output is unchecked. We do not want that checked. And I'll show you what the compilemaker.bat looks like. So basically we passed in the file name. We have all these variables and the file name that get put into a batch file, which we just looked at. And I will be uploading this batch file and all the others into a folder on my Google Docs that I'll give you a link to at the end of this video. The next tool that we're going to look at is the edit compile. We just showed you also what that one does. So basically the tool in Programmer's Notepad, it looks like this. So we're passing once again the file name into this batch file. On this tab, I like to have the capture output checked for this tool. And is really lagging now. And again, the batch file looks like this. It's basically checking once again to see if the compile bat is there, and if not, we make it, and then it passes that into Programmer's Notepad. If you have a different text editor that you are using, you go ahead and put the file path to that right here. And once again, you change the all the paths so that they will work on your computer. If you have these batch files saved somewhere else, or you have your QuickBASIC folder named something else, you go ahead and change those. Anyway, I'm going to speed things up a little, try to get in under the time limit on YouTube. My next tool, of course, is compile. Go ahead and run that. As you can see, there's no errors, and our executable pops up over here in our folder, so we can get rid of that. And that tool in Programmer's Notepad looks like this. So again, we're passing the file name into a batch file. You'll notice this pattern in all my tools. And over here, I like to have this output, capture output unchecked. Click OK. And that batch file, the batch compile, looks like this. So again, we're passing the file name in here, over here, and also here. So again, we check to see if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, we create it, and then we call that compile.bat. Next tool is run.exe. That's what it looks like in our tool. Go ahead and show you what that tool looks like here. Options, run.exe. So we are passing this right here, and you can see what that is down here. That's the path, the file name, and .exe. And I've got that in quotes just in case there's a space inside our path, but it's that's really bad bad habit to get into. You shouldn't need that. Over here on this tab, I make sure that capture output is not checked, and we'll go ahead and look at this batch file, the command line executor. I do use this batch file for other things, even outside of this programming environment. Command line executor again looks like this. So we passed in the file name, and you can basically see what's going on. It calls calls our file. If it doesn't exist, then it goes straight down here without calling it and says that sorry, Windows can't seem to find the file, and goodbye. Let's go ahead and look at that. Delete the hellno.exe. Go back here and try and it says I can't do that. Interesting. Anyway, if I were able to delete that, then you would see that message pop up, and then you'd know to go and compile it. Get rid of that. Okay. The next tool is the the compile and run if you want to do everything all at once. And we'll go ahead and look at what that tool looks like over here. And again, we pass the file name into compile and run.bat. We do not want capture output checked. Compile and run looks like this, pretty much like the other batch files. Yeah, anyway, we've gone over all these functions again. I've just consolidated it into one batch file. I don't think I've gone over this, but for all of these tools here, you can set keys, hotkeys, so that you can just press those keys instead of going up here to Tools and finding your tool. I would normally do that, but I'm not going to, just to make things more clear, so you actually see me go to Tools and then select them out. You don't have to guess which tool I'm running. And the final tool is Run in DOSBox. And I'll just go ahead and run that to show you what that looks like. Run exe in DOSBox. Wow, this is really laggy. Basically, that just opened and closed because because I don't have anything stopping the execution here. It actually printed out "Hell No World" to a console and then closed really fast. But anyway, I'll go ahead and show you the tool first. Options, Tools, Run in DOSBox, Edit. Okay, so we're passing the directory and the file name into this batch file right here. I have capture output unchecked. This is what the batch file looks like. So wherever you have DOSBox installed on your computer, if you have it installed and want to use this program, you put that path here, and then the information from the tool gets passed in right over here, and that's the path and the name, and I've appended the .exe. And in case you don't know much about DOSBox, what that does is DOSBox emulates an old computer with DOS running and mounts this path as you know, our executables path as the C drive, and go ahead and it executes the program. And I think that is all that I wanted to cover in this video. That actually allows me to program right here inside Programmer's Notepad all the QuickBASIC that I want to. I never have to go to DOS. There are actual speed and memory advantages that you have using this environment over the DOS environment, and it is a lot easier to work with than trying to emulate the QuickBASIC DOS environment using DOSBox. Once again, I will be uploading all of this, all the batch files, into this folder over here on Google Docs. Let me just go ahead and do a share. I'm going to get this address right here, and I'm going to shorten it, that tiny URL. Control V. Wow, it's really slow. Okay, and I will put this shortened link into the video description and try and zoom in on it with the software whenever I'm editing in a little bit. And just go ahead and download all those batch files, set up your tools if you want to use the environment the way I showed you. If there are any questions, go ahead and message me either on the blog or Facebook or on YouTube, and I will see you next time. Bye.